Hello, my name is Paige and welcome to my July TBR. So if you have not already seen my Sims 4 picks my TBR for June, I had my Sim self go about a full day reading only, and that is all she was allowed to do, and the 4 books that she completed in that day were what I was going to base my TBR off of. And I ended up needing to read Jude Devereaux's Chance of a Lifetime, From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout, Texas Rich by Fern Michaels, this is just a placeholder because I put that book away, and Atomic Habits by James Clear. I based those off of the prompts, and I told you all about how I got to those books based on the Sims 4 books that my sim read. I feel like I'm saying The Sims a lot. So you can watch that video if you want to know how I picked those books, but I did complete all 4 of those books. However, I did also have to take a couple of punishments because I did not read all of the books I was supposed to in the months prior. So my 2 punishments for June was that I had to read 1 book entirely outside of the house, and I did complete that because I read basically everything this month at work. While I was working, I was listening to audiobooks. But my second punishment was that I had to post 1 book talk a week, and I think I only posted 2 book talks total. So I definitely did fail on that one, which means on my board game I do have to go backwards a little bit. So we're gonna take care of that, but housekeeping beforehand, I need to let you know how many books I read in June. If I counted correctly, I read 12, and I also DNF'd 3. So some of those are going to go towards my board game, but some of them were not on my physical TBR, and that's really what I'm trying to wean down. So I'm not going to count those towards the board game, but I did read them. I'll just let you know quickly what I read. I don't know if I'm going to do a June wrap up. Let me know if that's something that you want. But these are the books that I read this month. So like I said, I finished all of my TBR books, and I also finished the second book, Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, in the From Blood and Ash series. Then I went on and finished the 3rd book in that series called A Crown of Gilded Bones. I read Anxious People, I read That Summer, I read Girl, Woman, Other. I also read Unfuck Yourself, The Magic of Manifesting, Sisters-in-Law, The Total Law of Attraction, The Extraordinaries, and The Last Law of Attraction book you'll ever need or whatnot, because I just got really invested in manifesting and manifestation because I was so intrigued by it. I kept hearing about it. I don't know if that was just a sign that I needed to look into it for myself, but I was very, very intrigued by that. So I listened to those on Scribd and whatnot, and those were not a part of my original TBR. So those are a couple of the books that aren't going to count. But I did also DNF'd All the Light We Cannot See, The Rest of Us Just Live Here, and Lost in the Neverwoods. So those are all of the books that I got through in June, not on June, in June. So we are going to quickly work with the game board, and then we will get into my TBR jar. I've missed it a little bit, and I'm a little bit nervous this month, but I'll tell you why in a second. Let's take care of this. So I do need to move backward some spaces, so I'm going to just have Suri tell me. Roll a dice. And she said it is 4. It's not gonna focus, it never does, but I'm going to move backwards 4 down to this purple one. Okay, I took my punishment, and now we get to move forward a little bit. Like I said, I am working towards an unknown goal. I am making it a mystery for myself for when we get to the end of this, and a giveaway is an option, possibly. Alright, so part of my rules is that for every TBR book that I complete, I get to move 1 space forward per book. I finished 4 of my TBR books, so I get to move 4 spaces forward, so back to where I was. And for the second part of my rules, which I always get confused on how to explain, for every 2 non-TBR books, I get to move 1 space forward. I finished 5 non-TBR books that were already on my shelf. To make it easier, we're just going to say that's 4. And only move 2 spaces forward. So we're gonna get all the way to this purple one right here. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 13, 14, 15 spaces to go. And I'm hoping to try and read 12 books in the month of July, but I'm also not going to put 12 books on my TBR, so there's a potential to get very, very close. We'll just see how this game goes. It's been a while. The TBR jar might be mad that I ignored it last month. It also might be very kind to me because we're getting back into it, and I also have 12 books that I am planning to read for videos in the month of July. So let's get started. I have not shuffled these in a while. I don't know what sort of order they're in, but I'm hoping that it's gonna be very nice to me. Every single month I draw 4 prompts, and sometimes it's a little mean because there are draw extra prompt cards inside of this. It might be more than 4, it might be just at 4. It will never be less than 4, I don't think. Poll number 1. Okay, this is a kind of save for later. I can swap out a prompt if at any point I do not like the prompts that I'm getting. So I'm gonna keep this aside. The real prompt number 1 is to read an ebook. I have basically only been reading audiobooks, so reading an ebook sounds kind of terrible because I have not physically with my eyeballs read a book in a very long time. And I also, when I get home from work, I just want to sit and watch YouTube, and I just want to relax and not use my eyes because I stare at a screen all day long. So I'm not exactly enjoying this prompt, but I will pick something. Let me do that. So I have Kindle Unlimited. I just never ever use it, but I have had a wish list on Amazon where I put books that I notice are on Kindle Unlimited for when I am ready to read ebooks. And a book that I have had on my radar that I've wanted to buy for a really long time is All Systems Red by Martha Wells, which is like the Murderbot series. I believe it's a novella, so it'll be probably pretty quick and easy to read. I heard it's really funny. It's about a robot named Murderbot, I believe, who is an AI, and he is more aware than most average AIs. I'm not entirely sure. I just know that he's supposed to be very, very funny. And if I have learned from the books that I have read recently and reread, like Skyward from Brandon Sanderson, I really like AIs who are very funny and grumpy and just that general feel with AIs. So I think I'm going to enjoy it. I have wanted to read this for a very long time, and now I have an excuse. So will I actually read it because it's an ebook? I guess we'll find out. Poll number 2 is going to be, let's just, okay, my finger is stuck on this one. So I need to read a sapphic romance, which, great, I think I can handle that. You know, I say that, and then I don't think I see any of those books on my shelf. So I'm going to have to pull up a list of some sapphic romances. Okay, so I think I'm gonna pull my prompt swap for this because every single sapphic book that I recognize on these lists that I'm seeing are books that I either don't own or that I have already read. So I am not in the business of buying more books right now. I already just bought 20 plus books. And so I think I'm gonna swap this out, and I hope that I'm not gonna get a worse prompt. So no sapphic romance this month. I will try and buy more sapphic books in the next time that I have a little bit of a fever dream and buy 20 plus books again. I will keep that in mind, but we're gonna swap this prompt for now. And I need to close my eyes and pick, but I'm gonna move the camera, so that means the angle later is gonna change. That's okay. Okay, we are up and I am standing and I'm holding the camera, and I hope that this is not a terrible choice. So I'm going to close my eyes and I'm just gonna, okay, this one right here. I'll get that down and come show you. But you can see what I'm pointing at right here. Okay, the angle is different, but I promise you I grabbed the book that I touched. The part of me didn't want to. I kind of wanted to redo that, not gonna lie, but I grabbed it. So this is called Things We Lost to the Water by Eric Nguyen, and I want to read this, I do, but I'm not in the mood for slow moving or like nonfiction memoir type stories. I don't even know if this is nonfiction or what. I believe this book is about a mother who moves from Vietnam to America with her 2 sons, and she's trying to keep her connection with her husband there, but then after a while she realizes that she's not really going to be reunited with her husband, and just kind of has to re-navigate her life in America with her sons and raising them there. So it sounds so good. I just worry that where I am with my reading right now, I am not going to appreciate it like I should. So I will attempt to find an audiobook because I am consuming books the best that way right now, and if I don't feel myself fully invested in it, I will again softy enough it so that I can pick it back up at a better time where I will appreciate it more. So I'm just putting that out there. Right now I am more in this like fantasy, also kind of self-help mindset, so that's where I'm at. Who knows, maybe in a couple of weeks it will be a little bit different for me. But now that we have 2 books picked, let's go on to our 3rd pick. And we're just gonna reach in and pull this one. Okay, random letter. So I have to find a random letter generator, and the first word in the book has to start with that letter. There we go. I know how to explain things. Okay, so we are on the random letter generator. It automatically populated an F, but we are going to just click the button, and R is our letter. So I need to find a book that starts with the letter R. The advertisement for the test is a little funny. Yeah, half and half. Okay, I have a much shorter option, but I'm going to torture myself a little bit with Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. I put this on a TBR jar once, and then I think I had a prompt swap, and I swapped it out for something else, and I knew I eventually had to get back to it, and I want to read it. It's just, she big, but I have the audiobook, and it also is in one of the books that I need to read in the month of July, so I need to get to it anyway. Might as well use it with this prompt so that I can at least cross off a couple things. 2 birds with 1 stone, you know? So, no clue what this is about. There's not exactly a blurb on the back. It just says, a world caught in eternal war, young man will become his people's only hope for survival. And then it compares it to Game of Thrones. So, that's all that it says about this. So, I believe there's dragons. And that's about it. And it's probably fantasy, which is where I want to be. So I can't complain. All right, hopefully we're gonna be on to our last prompt right now. Prompt number 4. Just gonna grab this one, and it says that a friend needs to pick. So who am I gonna ask? And my camera died right at that moment. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go onto my Discord, and I'm going to see who is the first person to respond to what I need to read. Okay, so it's been a little bit and nobody has responded, so they're either asleep or busy, and that is totally okay. So I will insert a screenshot of somebody responding to this, and as well as the book that I have to read for my TBR. It looks like these 2 books plus an ebook plus whatever my friend picks will be what I am reading for my July TBR. I'm a little nervous because I really expected to be able to pick more from the books that I already plan to be reading in July, so I foresee a couple of punishments in the future, but that's okay. It makes it more fun that way. So if you want to see if I am able to complete all of my books from my July TBR, go ahead and subscribe so that you can see what happens by the time we get to August. And I think that is all that I have for this video. If you have made it this far, go ahead and leave me the phone emoji. I just looked at my phone. That is the only reason why I picked that. But like I said, that is all that I have, and I will see you in my next video, which should be out very shortly. All right, bye.